Good morning, everybody. Let's get those lineups ready for Week 11 right now on Fantasy Football Today Express. Now, last week we were wondering about Nico Collins on Sunday night. We were wondering about Tyreek Hill on Monday night. I don't think we have those same concerns, although we do have some Sunday night and Monday night injuries, but we feel a little bit more secure about them. So let's get started here with Nico Collins. He says he's going to play. Any hesitation at all to start him at Dallas on Monday night?
They took him off of the injury report. We heard a week and a half ago that he was fully cleared. He is a top 5 wide receiver. A must start. I'm starting him.
All right, but CeeDee Lamb is on the injury report with a back issue that they say they expect him to play. They're not too concerned. Are you concerned about starting CeeDee Lamb?
I don't like this potential of him not playing, but I still would put him as a near must-start wide receiver if he's active. I think he's going to probably be somewhere in the 15 fantasy point range.
Okay, that's CeeDee Lamb, and you could, I guess, get Jalen Tolbert or something like that if you need a backup plan, or I don't know, maybe John Mechie, but let's just hope CeeDee Lamb plays. T. Higgins is going to play. I mentioned this on the mailbag. This guy has an absolutely dreadful history coming back from injury. He has done it 7 times in his career, I believe, and has never had 50 yards in a game. First game back from injury or being inactive. So I don't know if that matters to you. And again, it looks on paper like a tough matchup, although we don't know fully what this matchup is like with the Chargers. How are you feeling about T. Higgins? I have him in a few leagues, and I'm playing it safe. I'm not starting him in every league. I'm starting Cedric Tillman over him in a league I feel safer with Tillman. How do you feel about Higgins?
I don't think there are enough healthy wide receivers who have been good this year for me to sit T. Higgins. I would not sit him for Cedric Tillman. He's a top 12 wide receiver. I like the fact that again, earlier in the week, we heard that T. Higgins was going to be okay. It's not a game time decision. They're acting as if he's 100% healthy. I'm going to assume he's 100% healthy. I'm starting T. Higgins.
Okay, they go to the Chiefs game, the Chiefs-Bills game. Juju Smith-Schuster could play. Amari Cooper, they're optimistic that he's going to play with a cast on his arm. Dalton Kincaid is out. Any big rankings movers for you with the news?
I mean, I did move Dawson Knox up a little bit, but it's really, even though the Chiefs have been terrible against tight ends, the Bills tight ends have been terrible this season, and Knox is the backup. And so I'm not particularly excited about starting Dawson Knox. I'm very interested to see what the snap distribution between Hopkins and Juju is, and if they're actually going to play both of those guys. And if they do, then whose role is changing, who's going downfield. But I'm mostly just starting Hopkins as the number 3 wide receiver and leaving Juju on the bench until we see something from him. People forget, the one good game he has this season wasn't the first time he was active with the Chiefs. He was active several weeks before that, but Rashee Rice was okay. And so Juju just didn't play very much or do very much. So I don't want to start Juju.
And I have been the optimist on Amari Cooper, but I'm pumping the brakes there. I'm going to start Jackson Smith and Jigba over him in a league. How are you feeling about Cooper?
Cooper is not a top 48 wide receiver for me this week.
Okay.
He's been one of the worst wide receivers in the NFL, and he's playing with a cast on his hand.
Right. And he says he has to get used to catching with it. George Kittle, unlikely to play. I guess that was the big news from overnight. And he's got this hamstring injury. He's facing Seattle. Tight ends don't grow on trees. So how are we feeling about your thoughts, I guess, on this Kittle situation in the 49ers?
It stinks. If you want, the nice thing is, if there is a nice thing, is that there are some tight ends who are playing later, who are widely available, who are amongst the guys I would choose anyway if I wanted to replace him. So Will Dissly is playing after George Kittle. You can add him, and then you can just wait and make sure that Kittle's out. And I'm okay starting Will Dissly. AJ Barner is playing against Kittle's 49ers, and he's filling in for Noah Fant, who is out today. And we've seen Barner have a couple of decent fantasy games already. So go pick up one of those guys, and you should be okay.
By the way, Will Dissly has the Ravens next week. Go look at your lineups. Look at Week 12. There are some really good teams on by Week 12. You could have trouble filling out a roster. Will Dissly, Jatavian Sanders plays the Chiefs next week. These are guys you might need to pick up now to get ahead of the game. Let's take a quick break, finish up with some more news, and we'll talk about – oh, but before we do that, sorry. Does this make Ricky Pearsall more interesting? Does this downgrade Brock Purdy significantly? What's the rest of the impact on the Kittle injury?
Brock Purdy was already ranked so high. Like, I think there's a possibility I'm going to move him down to like 6, but I'm still starting Brock Purdy. I am going to move Ricky Pearsall up just a little bit. It's a target boost for Debo, a target boost for Jennings, and you're probably just starting both of those guys. And Pearsall, who I had kind of was putting in that prove it category, do it one more week before I rank you as a starter, now looks like a decent flex.
Yeah, and honestly, Trent Williams might not play their left tackle too, and I would care more about that. I just don't know that Seattle is the team that you run away from if you're a little injured offensively. All right, now we're going to take a break, come back and talk about Sam Laporta being out, the Jalen Warren update, and Tank Bigsby being out, and then we'll answer your questions on Fantasy Football Today Express. Okay, yeah, Sam Laporta out. This is not unexpected, so this isn't really changing anything for you. But here's a question that relates to 2 topics here. Jameson Williams or Travis Etienne in half PPR. They're facing each other. No Laporta, no Tank Bigsby. What's your answer, Jameson or Etienne in half PPR?
It's so frustrating because like the right answer is that Etienne's floor is much better than Jameson Williams, and Williams might have a better ceiling. I'm going to start Etienne over Williams. I don't know how much of an impact Laporta not playing is going to have on Williams.
Yeah, I don't either. The target per out run rate is almost double for Jameson Williams when Laporta's off the field. But I don't really know what that means because It's not like Laporta's missed a game. It's just, snaps within a game. So I don't know if you could take much out of that. And then Jalen Warren is questionable. Najee Harris will play. I know we didn't like Najee going into the week against the Ravens, but with Warren beat up and don't even know if he's going to play, what do you think about Najee now?
Yeah, I think the reports this morning were that they were expecting Jalen Warren to play, and Cordarrelle Patterson's back anyway. So even if Jalen Warren didn't play, I think Patterson might take some of the pass catching downs. Harris is a high end flex or a bad number 2 running back, but it's a terrible matchup, and he hasn't been super involved in the passing game, so I still don't want to start him.
All right, let's read some questions here. Nick Chubb, Drake London, or Jaden Reed, half PPR?
I am sticking with Drake London.
And we expect Mooney to play, right? Mooney's good?
Yes.
Okay. Jaden Reed or Quentin Johnston?
Ooh, I will go with Jaden Reed, but that one is very close.
Tank Dell or Quentin Johnston?
I will go with Tank Dell, but that one is very close.
Etienne or Jacoby Myers, half PPR?
I've got Jacoby Myers, a top 12 wide receiver. So
JSN or Khalil Shakir, PPR?
Shakir.
Pick one in half PPR. Jawan Jennings, Khalil Shakir, Jaden Reed, Josh Downs.
Shakir.
Hunt or Brown? Chase Brown, I guess. Hunt or Chase Brown, half PPR?
I would go with Chase Brown. They're both number 2 running backs.
Should I flex Gesicki or Javonte Williams? Ooh.
Well, and see, I think I do have this situation in a league, and it stinks because you don't really want to play Estime or Javonte. But if he's already got Estime in the starting lineup, I'm playing Javonte over Gesicki.
Because of Estime being in your lineup, or just independent?
I mean, obviously, what this does is if you play Javonte, then your floor is better, and if you play Gesicki, then your ceiling's better.
Yeah.
So you can make the decision based on that if you want to, and kind of looking at the matchup. But I also just have Javonte projected higher than Gesicki, who has done almost nothing when T. Higgins.
All right, a couple more here. Najee Harris or Tony Pollard?
Pollard.
And how about Tyreek Hill or Cedric Tillman?
Tillman. Play the music.
Wow. Oh, wow. So Tyreek Hill is pretty low. Wait. Sorry, I came in late. All right, we'll get it going during the 11:30 stream. All right, yeah. So listen, if you can get your question answered, join us at 11:30 a.m. Where does Tyreek Hill for you, by the way?
20?
Okay.
21?
11:30 a.m. Eastern, youtube.com/Fantasy Football Today. We're answering questions for nearly an hour and a half. We'll see you then. Thanks a lot for watching Fantasy Football Today Express.